What is the future of LEGO electronics? In the past half-century, we have been blessed with all kinds of motors. However, having plenty of options is like having kids. You will always pick favorites. You're more likely to prefer the powered-up large and PF-XL motors as opposed to all the other options. They have something that not a single other component even comes close to matching: their convenience. The powered-up large motor is simply a small rectangular prism, super easy to fit in anything. It is the exact reason why I am obsessed with this motor when doing RC mods. It is way easier to implement than the angular motors or the NXT motors. With Mindstorms now retired, LEGO has no reason to make weird-shaped motors anymore. As a result, I strongly believe that in the future we will only get the rectangular style of motors. What's missing is an XL version of this motor. While we did get a powered-up XL motor, it had the exact same torque as the large motor of 8.81 Newton centimeters. You got a larger form factor with zero practical benefits. The XL was technically more efficient, using about only 4.16 watts, as opposed to the 4.7 of the large motor, but let's be real, nobody cares about efficiency in Technic. I want a new version of the Power Functions XL motor providing at least the same amount of torque of 14.5 Newton centimeters. TLDR, Power Functions good, Power Functions strong, ooga booga, me use XL, me get more torque, me happy. This is why the old motor is still so beloved to this day. Despite it not having the rotation sensor, it was still nearly as strong as the NXT motor, despite being way easier to implement and being way smaller. I do not think we need super fast motors, but stronger motors are definitely something that would be welcomed by all Technic fans, especially by those building mega extremely large creations. If you're enjoying this video so far and you would like to encourage me to make even more videos faster, then make sure to check out this Heisenberg shirt. I have plenty more designs as well. And also subscribe and turn on notifications to uncover all the secrets of LEGO Technic. No pressure though, no pressure. The next thing I would like to see is a dedicated pneumatic block. This could have 8 ports, allowing the single block to control 4 distinct cylinders. It would connect to just a single port on the main hub. We could finally have the full RC pneumatics on just 4 ports. 1 for steering, 1 for driving, 1 for the compressor, and 1 for activating all the different switches. This is the kind of component that would be revolutionary, and we could see an explosion of creativity. For example, prior to the Zetros releasing, I genuinely thought that its high price tag of over $300 was caused by full RC pneumatics being implemented for the first time, since full RC was already confirmed at the time. The next thing we need is a rechargeable battery compatible with the main Control Plus hub. Once you take off the hub's cover, you will find a module that condenses 6 AA batteries very neatly. Wow, you just installed a full set of fresh batteries? They will break and crumble to dust, leaving you completely vulnerable to attacks from leaks, weight, cost, inefficiency, and environmental waste. But there is an easy solution to this: rechargeable batteries! What if the battery housing could be replaced with a rechargeable battery along with a USB-C port? There is even a crowdfunding project with such a module that let you upgrade your existing Control Plus hub. A common point of controversy regarding rechargeable batteries is degradation. However, with replaceable batteries, you'll be able to keep your old hub while only replacing the battery portion, and replacing a rechargeable battery once every few years is infinitely less wasteful than constantly throwing away 6 AA batteries. The experience of buying AA's, putting them in your device, waiting till they drain, and then tossing them is over 100 years old, and we have to move away from it in 2025. I would also like to see a better expansion of the powered-up system. I want better cables, converted to the old power function system, splitters, and all kinds of stuff like that. I understand that a simple splitter would make it impossible to control multiple motors independently, but you often have situations where you have to control 2 motors simultaneously exactly the same, such as a dual motor drive setup. And for such situations, let's also add a polarity reverser. That way, if the 2 motors are facing in the opposite directions, they have some kind of, different orientation placement, you can easily swap their direction of rotation and keep everything still functioning, perfectly fine, just on 1 port. Speaking of the lack of ports, let's introduce a brand new Control Plus hub, similar form factor to this, except we will have 6 ports instead of just 4, and of course I also wanted to have a rechargeable battery. This will be kind of like the Mindstorm's hub, but it will be smaller and compatible with a powered up app. But what is the actual future of LEGO electronics? In which direction will the LEGO company take its electronics? All you have to do is look at the new LEGO Education Science kits. We're getting wireless electronics, a single motor, a double motor which is two contained in one housing, a color sensor, and a remote, all having their own internal batteries and communicating wirelessly with each other. You do not need to have all of them connected to a single central hub. There is not even a smartphone app. It all just works. Basically, you have just a bunch of different cards and you put them in front of the color sensor and it plays one of the pre-programmed presets. Unfortunately, as of right now, you cannot customize these presets. It's kind of meant to be, a solution that works without the computer, but if it gets implemented into Technic, I want it to be customizable. I'm hoping for the ability to reprogram anything using your computer, and cards only being there if you really don't want to touch programming. Given this, I believe that sometime around the end of 2020s, we will get a new electronic system for Technic using these wireless components. Personally though, I do not like the idea of wireless components. Motors in Technic sets and creations are always tucked away and hidden, somewhere inaccessible without significant disassembly. Recharging will be impossible unless you disassemble your creation for every recharge. And let's face it, that's not fun at all. Have you noticed that every single motorized Technic set already has its hubs at the bottom, where by putting the model upside down, you can easily access the hub and its batteries? That's by design. There is clearly a constraint internally among the Technic design team that the hub must be easily accessible for battery replacement. Could you imagine if that constraint also extended to motors? Building anything creative and designing anything creative would become impossible, since you have to work with those constraints where each motor has to be easily accessible. Furthermore, most fans consider the motors to be already quite bulky, and I'm sure not a single one of them would want to see the powered-up large motor become even bigger due to the internal battery it must now contain. So I'm hoping these components always coexist, and wireless components never replace the current powered-up system. That way, we could always have a little something for everyone, like Neapolitan ice cream. Vanilla for the boring, chocolate for those with low standards, and strawberry for those who pretend to like it. The real future of LEGO electronics will be by having a brand new interface. Maybe the next generation of LEGO electronics could have direct integration with the Vision Pro, making it so that your car will drive wherever you look at with your eyes. Or maybe even later down the line, you could control your LEGO sets with chips in your brain. This is your Unbreak Me here, and I'll see you in the next one.